Surprisingly, I've never shot Portra 800 before. There it is, the very first roll of Portra 800 that I have exposed. Hopefully some good stuff. I don't know, I've never shot with it before, so, who knows. My very first experience with the film, I think it's mainly because I always felt as if Portra 800 was a film reserved for professional photographers. And maybe that has something to do with the advertising that's put behind it, but I think in the end, what is more poignant than the advertising, and the reason that I think this, is that growing up in the era in which I did, you only experienced color photography in very minimal ways, right? So there was advertising where you'd see color photography. There was the occasional magazine, like whether it's National Geographic or one of those other, publications of the era. And then there was just what was shared between, family members. So there wasn't this internet that has limitless potentials for you to look at photography and see what and to see the boundaries of photography being pushed every day. That wasn't a thing that you got to experience growing up. At least I didn't get to experience it growing up. So it was interesting to shoot this roll and to do it in the way that I did, which is, as you can see, it is macro nature. I originally thought going into it this was going to be about the film and how, it was my experience with it, and I really enjoyed it, and it did this really well, and it did that really well. But at the end of the day, the very important lesson that I learned from shooting this Portra 800 is that this notion that certain film stocks are reserved for certain occasions or certain, professions or certain, instances is kind of archaic, right? It's not the norm anymore. And maybe it never really was the norm. Maybe it was just my interpretation of the norm. So it was very freeing, in a sense, getting to shoot this stock. Sure, it's expensive, and man, I wish it wasn't expensive, because it just produces some very nostalgic photography. Because like I had said, the only way that you could experience color photography was through magazines or, through publications, and you didn't really get to experience it firsthand or get to experience it in the volume that we can experience it now with, the internet and the social media and all that kind of stuff that comes with it. Like, it just didn't exist. For me, it's very eye-opening to shoot a stock that you've always kind of reserved as being for professionals, for professional use only. Here I am, just a hobbyist photographer, just an average Joe photographer, taking pictures of average, everyday wildlife that's either in my backyard or, in a public park. And to be able to produce images that look and feel like those that came in the magazines that I would see. It's just a really cool experience to be like, oh yeah, that's mine. I took that. This is me. I did this. Not, oh, this is something that I'm experiencing that somebody else did. It was really a lot of fun, and I don't know if I'll ever really get to experience that again. It's like one of those once in a lifetime things where it's like the revelation of, oh shit, I'm actually a photographer. I guess is really what I pulled away from this role. You know, hopefully my rambling over top of the images doesn't dissuade from what they are, or detract from what they are. Hopefully it enhances. But the only way I'm going to know if this actually enhances the experience is to do it and put it out there and see how it does. So it's all a learning experience, and that's really why this channel exists. This channel exists for me to learn and for me to grow. And you know, if you get to grow and learn along with me, then that's great. If you just get to be entertained, that's also great. That's all I'm after. That's the main goal of this whole channel. I don't know why I needed to go into a channel explanation at the end of this, but it just felt necessary. Regardless of my rambling, thank you. Now go shoot.
Long lost love pulling at my soul. Do I drown in the tide or be buried in the hole? Long lost love